roid rage, alpha males, and limp dicks. I was just driving. It's about 9 in the morning, peaceful morning. Everyone seems to be minding their own business. And I see there's somebody in the car next to me. And I just happen to look over. And I could just tell, the first impression I got was, this guy's a psychopath. Probably about 27, or maybe 30 years old. He just looks like he's insane. Then finally I get to the red light up ahead, and he pulls up next to me, and then he gets out of the car, and he goes up to the person who was in the car in front of him, an old man, and starts pounding on the window. And finally, the old man opens the door, and then this fucking psychopath is screaming in his face about something. He stands around for like 30 seconds, and then finally he gets back into his car, and they drive away at the green light. I was able to record a short piece of it. And it reminded me of the psychotically angry man, and how often that's misinterpreted as an alpha male. But it's an interesting trend that I've noticed for the psychotically violently angry alpha male. In my own personal experience and other alpha males that I've interacted with, as well as in mainstream news articles, a common trait among violent, brooding men, like the men that are just known for being like these, off-hinge psychopaths. So if you just say one thing, they go fucking ballistic. They often have erectile dysfunction. There was somebody I used to know. She was dating one of these violent nut jobs. Absolute, tornado of insanity. Just a pathetically weak person who anything just throws them off. It's pretty sad actually to see, how reactive people are to the world around them. I mean, you take everything personal, man. You're not gonna, it's the mentality of a tyrant, and tyrants always self-destruct. Whatever. She was dating this guy, and she ended up telling me, "Oh yeah, he beats me sometimes, and he's really fucking crazy." And he has erectile dysfunction problems. And back then, I didn't really know too well, so I'm like, oh, really? He has erectile dysfunction? And I was like, hey, it's kind of weird, because, back then I'm like, oh, the alpha male. Isn't the alpha male this big, brooding, angry fuck who just destroys everything, and then whips out his gigantic, engorged cock and just impales all women with it? So I was a little surprised by that. And then it was just over the span of many years that I began to hear mainstream news stories. For example, Christy Mack, she's a very popular porn star, dating an MMA fighter called War Machine. And War Machine, again, another kind of violent, brooding psychopath. You say one thing wrong and he goes on a literal violent rampage, starts beating people. Supposedly he beat his girlfriend, Christy Mack. And one of the things Christy Mack reported was that he had erectile dysfunction. And a lot of times not only would he always be angry, but then when he tried to have sex, his anger inhibited his ability to get an erection. And that would make him even angrier, which would further inhibit his ability to get an erection. And then it would just spiral down into even more anger. And this is actually fucking common. This is actually surprisingly common, that the so-called alpha male, which has a misinterpretation, because there's nothing alpha about not being able to get your dick up. There's nothing alpha about not being able to get your dick up. So I don't care how much of a crazy, roid-raging, muscle-wielding, Tasmanian devil rampaging psychopath you are, if at the end of the day you can't get your dick up, there's nothing alpha about you, man. There's nothing alpha about you. The epitome of the man is his penis, and the erection is the ultimate expression of a man who is content within himself. And the thing is that in order to get an erection, you have to relax. This is why there's this thing called morning wood. You wake up in the morning, you're so relaxed, you have a boner even though you're not even sexually aroused. You have to be at ease with yourself. excuse me, overcoming this 4-day fever of hell. So if you can't be at ease with yourself, you're not going to get an erection. And this is why there's this common theme that I've noticed, and you can notice too if you do a little research, that the so-called alpha male, who has this monopoly over what it means to be a man, and that if you're not a psychotically, unstable idiot, violent freak, you're not a man. And yet the deep dark secret of the so-called alpha male, the roid-raging psychopath, is that in both my personal experience and even mainstream stories, they often have erectile dysfunction because they can't settle the fuck down. They can't relax. Try to get an erection when you feel insecure. Try to get an erection when you feel like you're worried about something. It ain't gonna happen. You gotta be just totally relaxed. And then the blood flow is allowed to flow. And you get yourself your big, manly erection. And it's not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. Let's thank the universe. Let's thank the universe that nature does not reward the psychotic, mentally unstable, pseudo-alpha male. For some reason, you can only get an erection when you're at ease, at peace, and accepting of yourself. And those are qualities you basically never see in the so-called alpha male. You just don't see them. So there it is. Next time you see a psychotic, roid-raging savage like the one that I just saw, don't think alpha male. Think erectile dysfunction.
For Neo, greatness began with a choice: the red pill or the blue pill.
Now you can make that choice too, because now I'm introducing the red pill. The red pill contains the singular, powerful ingredient, L-theanine. If you choose to take the red pill, then click the screen right here
To learn more,